Hi, my name is Mary. Today FM plays the best music in Lambasa. Today FM rocks.
My name is Thomas. I'm here in Nakasi and I like to listen to Today FM because it rocks.
My name is Milenia. Today FM rocks here in Singatoka.
My name is Alfriti and Today FM rocks here in Tavua.
My name is Mary Jane. I love listening to Today FM here in Ba. Today FM rocks.
My name is Ilay Tiambal and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
In the news tonight, PM hits out as Rombuka responds. Election office says Sudelpa claims are wrong. And Taviuni gets over $1 million boost.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate. Verbal
confrontation on the issue of Ithauke rights has broken out between Prime Minister Purenge Bainimarama and Sudelpa leader Sitiveni Rombuka. Speaking at a groundbreaking ceremony in Suva yesterday, Bainimarama spoke about opposition politicians lying about indigenous rights. However, Rombuka claims Bainimarama does not know what he's talking about. Ali Kimbia with the story.
Prime Minister Purenge Bainimarama has once again put opposition politicians under the spotlight.
We also hear a lot of talk these days from the opposition politicians on the protection of the Ithauke. Sadly, we're seeing the same tried and failed arguments we've heard over the years.
Speaking to FBC News on the issue raised by Bainimarama, Rombuka claims the downfall of indigenous rights is a reality.
He does not know what he's talking about. The indigenous rights of the indigenous people of Fiji have been assaulted badly and have been affected badly and eroded badly.
Bainimarama says the opposition politicians are continuously claiming that indigenous rights in Fiji are under attack.
Who are they hoping to fool? Do they really think that's something Fijians will go for? Those same lies failed them back in 2014 and they will fail them again in the upcoming election. And I can only hope that once that happens, we can finally move on past this old gang of politicians.
With the unprecedented protection of rights and Ithauke lands under the Constitution, Bainimarama says these comments are unacceptable and the government is leveling the playing field across Fijian society, giving every Fijian, including all Ithauke, equal access to prosperity. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
The Fijian Elections Office has this afternoon clarified claims made by the Social Democratic Liberal Party on their social media page, stating there were anomalies on the voter roll. The Supervisor of Elections says this issue was not raised with them and that the party, along with its leader, turned to making a series of attacks on the National Register of Voters and the FEO directly. Kelly Vadala reports.
The Fijian Elections Office voter and polling list distribution or even the entire operation does not follow provisional boundaries as falsely stated by Sudelpa.
We are not required to distribute the entire country along provincial lines, district lines or town boundary lines. So therefore, any attempts to join voter lists together to form constituencies through provincial lines is incorrect and misleading. The Fijian Elections Office had given all political parties the entire country's administrative area maps of polling venues under the same areas back in January 2018. This map is as at 31 December 2017, and it is surprising that the political party now claims not knowing about this.
Sanim says they conducted multiple voter list verification and display exercises early this year, resulting in the voter list being made many times.
The voter list has never been displayed at this number of times. In fact, the voter list has never been published this many times in an election year, historically. The idea is to allow political parties and individuals to approach us if they have found any errors or they believe there is an error. It is unethical to make a public shebang about it.
The SOE adds they have carefully and fairly distributed the entire country into 25 administration areas.
Sadly, I have to say today that I can see desperate attempts made to advance dubious calculations and irresponsible statements about the Fijian elections voter list. Professionalism dictates that such queries were better made with the FEO, as we have all the data.
FEO says raising these kinds of issues on social media with such allegations will get proven as wrong, and it only affects one's credibility. Kelly Bathala, FBC News.
The problem with previous governments and its leaders was their failure to think beyond for the future of this nation. Civil Aviation Minister Ayaz Said Qayyum says it's this failure that has forced the government today to fork out more money to construct and renovate infrastructure around the country. Akosita Thale reports.
The mistakes of previous governments and former leaders is today costing Fiji and its people way more than anticipated, says Civil Aviation Minister Ayaz Said Qayyum.
We can give you numerous examples of where airports have been built previously, where the leaders at that time did not think that we could have larger aircraft, so we need longer runways. We have, for example, in Lambasa, a runway that's built between the bend of a river, but there's flat land on the other side of the river.
Said Qayyum adds some former leaders did not think outside the box that one day big aircrafts could land at our airports, hence they constructed small runways.
If only they had chosen the land on the other side of the river, today we'd have a much longer runway in Lambasa. We now, as a result of the lack of vision, we have to find land somewhere else to build a brand new airport.
He adds all the changes in infrastructure that Fijians are seeing now are being driven by the vision of Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama. This vision is to create a modern nation state that has stability, equality and security incorporated into it. Akosita Thale, FBC News.
Government continues to invest in Taveuni by making small and micro businesses grow. Today, government injected approximately $1.3 million into the Taveuni economy through the disbursement of the Micro and Small Business Grant. Eleanor Tarangaivu reports.
1,321 small and micro entrepreneurs in Taveuni today received a boost of $1,000 each from government's Micro and Small Business Grant program.
Through this initiative, the Fijian government has invested approximately $2.5 million into the economy of Taveuni.
To date, 2,539 businesses in Taveuni have been assisted through the MSBG program since 2015, an investment government is taking pride in.
The Micro and Small Business Grant is one of the Fijian government's most important initiatives, which has ignited the spirit of enterprise in Fiji and has given a leg up to Fijians who deserve it.
60-year-old Petero Sikaipoto is one of the recipients. A singer by profession, Sikaipoto has been entertaining guests in the hotel industry for over 20 years.
I applied for the $1,000 grant because I needed $600 as fixed deposit for FDB, so I can get a $10,000 loan to buy a set of musical instruments. I'm starting my own band to sing at parties, weddings, birthdays and other occasions.
With a government investment of $26.4 million, the Micro and Small Business Grant has assisted 28,000 micro and small entrepreneurs, impacting the lives of 140,000 Fijians. Eleanor Tarangaivu, FBC News.
With just a few more months until the festive season, police have recorded worrying statistics on drivers being booked for various offences. Police says that the issuing of traffic infringement notices tops the list, with 94,344 drivers being booked for this offence. Anna Ravola with more details.
A total of 237,506 drivers have been booked for various offences this year. Out of this number, 44,816 drivers were booked for speeding, while 836 were arrested for drunk driving.
We have increasing drink and drive. The vehicle population increased, the driver population recently increased because of the vehicle population, but the attitude of our drivers, the young drivers. And I'm telling you, some of these statistics is talking about very prominent people in that 856.
Mishra says that they have booked 4,974 drivers for careless driving, 3,079 for not wearing seat belts, 50,191 booked during random breathalyzer tests, while 94,344 were served with infringement notices.
And we just have introduced 4 mobile brake test units in all the 4 divisions, and we put 120 new breathalyzer instrument for enforcement.
The highest fine is about $200 if you are driving a vehicle without the valid registration, and the lowest fine is about $25 in the speed.
There have been 55 deaths so far this year compared to 48 for the same period last year. Meanwhile, Fiji's highest fatality rate was 111 in 1996. Anna Ravulo, FBC News.
Still to come, Vakarisi accused of misconduct. And Tamboa quota to fight lawbreakers. Details after the break.
Bula, neva ngo malakai leloma ngongai nakas on rong nam bula fem nam bandua ena sere.
Oya ubasit sai sai lambasa ya on talita na warong nam bula fm nam bandua ena sere.
Gua da kimeli ako na tao no hinga toka. Talita kina na warong nam bula fm nam bandua ena sere.
Wana mtuma nam bula fm nam bandua ena sere maluan.
Na vengo fane na tao no singa toka kito on talita kana bula fm nam bandua ena sere.
Bula FM nam bandua ena sere.
Chone Vakarisi, who was recently charged for allegedly attacking police officers at Mid-Road in Namboa with 7 other people, was produced before the Suva Magistrates Court today. Police prosecution told the court that accused Vakarisi and Tevita Mbulanaivalu have refused for their remand cell to be searched on 2 separate occasions. Catherine Krishna reports.
The court also heard that these search requests were directive from the Commissioner and that the 2 were against the rules and regulations of the Fiji Correction Services. Vakarisi also told the court that there were 11 people in one cell and their search was carried out without any reason. Magistrate Liange Vikramasekara told the accused persons that the remand center was run by officials and they needed to abide by the rules. Accused Mbulanaivalu also told the court that he needed to go to the hospital for a scan. The court told the authorities to take him to CWM Hospital. Chone Vakarisi Jr., Tevita Mbulanaivalu, Lendua Gundru Sekove Serukalo, Chese Sorovi, Tony Sokoiwasa, Chanel Antonio, and Mark Ross have been charged with going equipped for theft, criminal intimidation, damaging property, and resisting arrest. The matter will be recalled on October 2nd. Catherine Krishna, FBC News.
A quota of 225 Tamboa export permits can only be issued on an annual basis. People who wish to get one should not forget to get an authorization letter from the Ithauke Affairs Ministry before obtaining a permit from the Department of Environment. Acting Permanent Secretary for Environment Joshua Wycliffe has confirmed Tamboa is listed as endangered species and Fiji has already signed the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. Savaira Tamboa reports.
CITES covers more than 34,000 species and monitors and regulates their trade through a system of permits and certificates. Wycliffe says passengers who declare items will not be penalized, but there are serious consequences for those who do not.
We work through the quota and ensure that whatever regulations are in place are protected, and our Fiji's international obligations are protected while very much being within the cultural significance ambit of, ensuring that the cultural significance is not compromised.
Acting Awareness Officer Eva Chosibini says as part of the awareness campaign, they need to work on getting the message out to all.
We usually reach out to the communities through the Ministry of Ithauke Roadshow, Provincial Council meeting. That's where we are part of their program. And we usually raise awareness to the communities.
The permit is valid for 6 months based on the date it was issued and signed at a cost of $29.15 per permit. Each permit has a maximum of 3 Tamboa that can be exported. Savaira Tamboa, FBC News.
The FBC News team today farewelled one of its veteran journalists. Virendra Lal, who's been involved in the media industry for more than 2 decades, officially put down his pen to embark on a new career path. Lal was announced as one of the proposed 51 candidates for the Fiji First Party earlier this week. Having joined the media industry since 1993, Lal spent around 10 years in total working with the Fiji Broadcasting Corporation in various roles. Majestic Princess, world's second cruise vessel that was specially designed for Chinese passengers, was in Suva today. Ship Captain Dino Sagani says the cruise ship is the third Royal Class vessel in the Princess Cruises fleet. Sagani says currently they have more than 3,500 passengers and around 1,300 crew members on board. He says the Royal Class ships are the largest vessels ever built, with the biggest area, which includes biggest top deck pool area and most advanced outdoor cinema.
We have this new feature which is called the sea wall, and you will see when you go on deck 17. Is an external part of the vessel where you can walk and be on top of the sea water, which is the passenger of course love. It's a very new feature. We have a conservatory up there. We have one of the largest spa at sea.
Later we will have the very latest in sports with Jamie, but before that we join Rachel with the latest in business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up after the break, tourism numbers continue to rise. And in Go in Fiji, Yandua Point Apartments work on track. Stay with us.
Lola, I am Eleanor. For the best classic hits, I only listen to Gold FM here in Singapore. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Seni Rawa. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Dino. I'm from Outrigger, Coral Coast, Singapore. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Salote. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Bula, my name is Marida. Gold FM plays the best classics here in Outrigger, Singapore.
Gold FM, only the classic.
In business tonight, the provisional numbers released by the Fiji Bureau of Statistics show that visitor arrivals increased by 7.7% last month. Over 88,600 visitors came to our shores for holiday purpose, accounting to 80% of total arrivals. Increases in arrivals were recorded from Australia, Japan, New Zealand, Europe and the US. The only decreases were recorded from the Pacific Islands. Amalgamated Telecom Holdings Limited paid a final dividend of $8.4 million per share yesterday to its shareholders. This is in addition to an interim dividend of over $10 million per share paid out earlier this year. ATH says this brings the total dividend paid out to $19 million for the financial year ending March 31st. ATH's two largest shareholders, the Fiji National Provident Fund and the government, will receive over $6 million and $1.4 million respectively. And now Sinifa joins us with the latest from the money market.
Let's see what's impacting our currency basket today. The US dollar struggled near two-month low, while the Japanese yen also sagged. This was on reduced safe haven demand and a switch in investors' view that the Sino-US trade conflict would be less damaging to global growth than initially feared. The two-year Treasury yield has climbed to a decade high this week, on the back of receding risk evasion and expectations for a hawkish Federal Reserve meeting next week. The Australian dollar has seen a gauge of risk sentiment stood near a three-week high, jumping nearly 1.9% this week. Data has been thin lately for the Kiwi, but next week we'll be seeing the Reserve Bank of New Zealand return with fresh statements after the recent New Zealand GDP reading came in well above expectations. That's all from HFC this week. Vinaka.
Thanks, Sinifa. Taking a look at the foreign exchange rate set this morning for the Fijian dollar for the final time this week. It was a mixed day for the Fijian dollar. The dollar was once again on the rise against the Chinese yuan as well as the US dollar. It also gained against the Kina and the Yen, but lost against the others. As for the commodities market, after 2 days of continuous increase, it was different today with the price of oil closing at $17.14 an ounce. Gold closed at $1,208 an ounce, and silver was down at $14.33 per ounce. And in Growing Fiji tonight, work on the new Unduya Point Apartments in Lami is currently underway. Pacific Building Solution Public Relations Manager Atilaita Dama says the multi-million-dollar project is a joint venture between PBS and the Hari Punjas and Sons Limited. Dama says the project was launched early this year and will consist of 4-story buildings with 26 apartments. The $21 million project is expected to be completed by next year.
construction has already begun and is progressing well. We have Concrete Solutions, our sister company, that is have begun construction there. It looks like there is high demand for high quality luxury waterfront apartments, which is what we saw with the pre-sales of the Ngelia Point, the Unduya Point apartments.
And that's a wrap from the business desk this week. Jamie Jones here now with sports.
Thank you, Rachel, and good evening. Up ahead in sports, Fijian Drua named for match against Sydney Rays, and Stingers target redemption at Marist tournament. This and more coming up.
Hi, I'm Jyotishma. I'm from Singatoka. I love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM is #1.
I'm Charlene Robert. Mirchi FM rocks in Lambasa.
I'm Soname Nasori Jackson. Mirchi FM is hot.
My name is Raymond Dutt. I'm in Baba Singh Alliance. Mirchi FM is hot in Lambasa.
I'm Pritika from Jax Nasori. I love listening to Mirchi FM here in Nasori. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
A lot of changes have been made to the Fijian Drua's run on site to face the Sydney Rays in round 4 of the National Rugby Championship on Sunday in Sydney. Johnny Daya, Tshwane Manu, Tivita Nangali and Seru Vularika have all earned their first starts for the season, while Ali Ferretti Rambukawanga and Aseili Atunaisa will make their campaign debuts off the bench. Vularika will start at fly half with his flying Fijian teammate Alivreti Vetokani sliding into fullback and Api Wangatambu moving to the bench. In the back row, a shuffle has seen Enforcer Ermasi Ranronro switch to blindside flanker, making way for Johnny Daya to slot in at number 8. Meanwhile, Fiji Airways Drua coach Sinirusi Seruvakula is eager to see a dramatic improvement on the field from his starting lineup when they meet the Sydney Rays. Seruvakula says they need to start well and prevent the opposition from gaining any momentum. The Udinipotu Sevens has received another major boost ahead of its inaugural tournament. Huawei has come on board as the major sponsor of the two-day tournament that will be played on the 12th and 13th of next month at Lambasa Subril Park, where 32 teams will vie for the main prize of $5,000 cash. The Stingers men's hockey side wants to end its 9-year drought at this year's Geotech Marist Hockey Tournament. Player Harry Artong says they've been doing the hard yards at training to perfect the basics. Meli Tavanga reports.
The Stingers men's hockey side is heading to this year's tournament on a mission.
It's just to perform to the best that we can and hopefully come away with a win. I think that's what everybody's aiming for.
The team has also roped in some of its players who are on overseas scholarships.
Have some of our overseas players coming, so it's a good time to catch up and play some good hockey.
Stingers women are also aiming for a platform finish.
Always going into the tournament, every team is just as good as the next, but the favorites would be Marist and Benches, so they would be our tough competitors.
The Marist Hockey Tournament will be held from next Thursday to Friday at the National Hockey Turf in Laudala Bay, Suva. Meli Tavanga, FBC Sports.
Northland is up to third on the championship table after a clear but far from convincing 26-10 home win over the cellar-dwelling Southland Stags. The 2019 Rugby World Cup will kick off a year from today, and the All Blacks remain firm favourites to retain the Webb Ellis Cup, according to the man who masterminded the team's triumph in 2011. Graham Henry says despite the All Blacks' loss to the Springboks in Wellington, there's simply too much experience in the team to not make it 3 in a row. The South Sydney star Sam Burgess appears set to play in Saturday's grand final qualifier despite being involved in a sexting scandal that the NRL Integrity Unit is investigating. The Rabbitohs were rocked last week by a woman's allegation that a social media account owned by Burgess was used to communicate lewd videos of 2 players to her in May. And that was tonight's sports segment. Angie joins you later on with weather and the weekend forecast. But in new media right after the break, check out the awesome new features of the latest GoPro camera. That's it from me for the week. Good evening.
Narang golesenya, awama kita nakas, dorong-rong na kami na Radio Fiji 1 nandong ibig.
Ayaw benyana, kita barong na Radio Fiji 1 nandong ibisi hingatoka.
Nguelo ilaisa hingatoka. Rong-rong na heramakawa na Radio Fiji 1 hingatoka.
Radio Fiji 1 nandong ibiti.
In new media tonight, GoPro has had some major struggles in recent years. It's hoping a new camera, the Hero 7 Black, can help it recover. It's weather time now with Angie.
Hello to you and to the weekend. It's the Friday we all eagerly wait for. Friday means weekend and weekend means fun. Hope you're all good and ready for it. On to today, more great sunshine came our way, such fabulous conditions without any rain now. Who wouldn't love that? Taking a look in the west, so pretty and gorgeous conditions, super humid as well. Eastwards from Pak Habarusuva, it was muggy but no complaints because it's Friday. And up north, sunny spells were quite comfortable, perfect holiday place. At sea, southeast winds gusting from 10 to 15 knots, moderate seas. For the tides, high tide at 10:20 p.m. with low tide at 4:29 a.m. Sunrise at 5:56. For tomorrow, this great deal of sunshine is set to continue. How exciting! Tomorrow's temps, the centers will most likely see the low 30 degrees. And looking further on to Sunday, are you ready for the good news? Ta-da! We have no sign of rain, so have a great weekend. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fijian Pulse tonight, we asked, what do you think of players being asked to cover up their tattoos at the Rugby World Cup next year?
I think players should just follow whatever rules set by World Rugby because they are the parent body of rugby.
I think it's a bit of unfair for players with tattoos to cover their tattoos. But on the other side, we have to respect the Japanese culture since they will be hosting the World Cup.
I don't agree with them. Because to worry about the tradition of the Japanese people, it will not help.
That law is going to come to pass. First of all, it's going to be rugby looking funny. Considering some of the, especially island nations whose tattoo is traditionally linked, like the Samoans, and well, should expect that low turnout in spectators, especially women who are attracted to those tattoos.
I think World Rugby should relook at this again. It's going to be awkward looking at players covering their tattoos while playing. For Pacific Islanders, most of them, these are part of their culture.
Recapping the main stories for tonight, a PM heads out as Rambuka responds. Election office says Sadelpa claims are wrong and Taviuni gets over $1 million boost. Now for these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question segment this week, we're asking, do you think a hotline will reduce the litter problem in the country? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day. With about a year to go to Fiji's outing at the biggest rugby tournament, the Webb Ellis Cup, pictured during the Rugby World Cup 1 year to go countdown celebrations in Japan. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Bye for now.
मैं नवनीत नंद नंबुआ से जैसे ट्रेनी नॉर्थ मशहूर है वैसे रेडियो फीजी 2 भी सभी जगह मशहूर है। रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
सीमा नकाशी से मैं रेडियो फीजी 2 पसंद करती हूँ सुनने के लिए। रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
मैं हूँ अंकल किंग सिंगाटोका टाउन के टैक्सी ड्राइवर। जैसे रग्बी फेमस है वैसे रेडियो फीजी 2 फेमस है।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।